This is the Scorecard, where you score the latest sports news and in-depth views. I'm Erika Kristensen-Lee. Tonight on the Scorecard, Maxine Esteban eyes comeback, ready to battle at FIE Grand Prix. Flying Titans clinch semi-spot after epic 5-set thriller. Zamboanga makes strong start at International Series Macau. Folayang gears up for showdown with Aoki, and MMA star Zamboanga backs the Filipino legend. Hamilton stuns with sprint qualifying pole in China. In the NBA, Knicks effort questioned after embarrassing loss to Hornets 115-98. While the Pacers edge Nets in OT thriller 105-99. And today we have Ralph Santos to talk about Racket Nation and his vision for Philippine tennis. All the headlines and much more on the Scorecard tonight, the 21st of March. Now, here's a roundup. Filipina fencer turned Ivory Coast representative Maxine Esteban is back in action, set to compete at the FIE Fencing Grand Prix in Lima, Peru this weekend. At just the young age of 24, Esteban has already made her mark on the international fencing scene, but she is not yet done. Despite dealing with back pains and a knee injury from before the Paris Olympics, she remains determined to climb back up the women's foil world rankings after slipping from number 27 to number 33. Esteban is laser focused on breaking into the top 20. Now, after Lima, she is setting her sights on the African Championships in Nigeria this June, followed by a big push at the World Championships in China come July. With her relentless drive and fighting spirit, Maxine Esteban is one to watch on the international fencing stage. Choco Mucho setter Mars Alba delivered when it mattered the most, leading the Flying Titans to a pulsating 25-15, 12-25, 25-23, 21-25, and finally 15-13 victory over the PLDT high-speed hitters to secure a semi-final berth in the Premier Volleyball League All-Filipino Conference at the PhilSports Arena. Now, in a crucial moment, Coach Dante Alinsunurin turned to a two-setter strategy featuring Alba, who responded with a smart off-speed spike to give Choco Mucho a 14-13 edge in the final set. Cici Rondina then sealed the win with a powerful kill. Now, this marks the Flying Titans' third All-Filipino Conference semis appearance and their fifth overall since joining the league just 6 years ago. Alba received strong support from Rondina and Royce Tubino, who scored 24 and 15 points respectively. The Flying Titans also erased a 1-5 deficit in the deciding set, showing their resilience once again. Choco Mucho remains undefeated in 6 5-set matches this conference and extends their winning streak to 9 after a 2-3 start. With, of course, the semis ahead, the Flying Titans are ready to keep soaring higher. Miguel Tabuen came out swinging at the International Series Macau, firing a brilliant 6-under-64 to stay right in the mix after the first round. Former U.S. Masters champion Patrick Reed had other plans, though, carding a solid 63 at the Macau Golf and Country Club to snag the lead in the $2 million championship under the Asian Tour banner. Reed, who finished fourth here last year, closed out his round in style with birdies on nose 16 and 18, just edging past Tabuen, who led for most of the day alongside Peter Ulaine and Kalei Samuja, dropping birdies on numbers 11, 15, 16, and 18 to put himself on contention. Sustaining the momentum, though, Tabuen added back-to-back birdies on numbers 3 and 7, proving his game is in a strong spot. Tabuen, who is chasing his fourth Asian Tour title and one of 3 coveted spots in the Open Championship in Northern Ireland this July, showed off his position play, hitting 10 fairways and 15 greens while needing just 27 putts for the day, even avoiding trouble on number 1 with a clutch par save. Now, with a $2 million prize purse and a pathway to the Live Golf League on the line, Tabuen has positioned himself very well, but with a stacked leaderboard just right behind him. Moving on, Filipino mixed martial arts icon Eduard Folayang is set to face off against longtime rival Shinya Aoki at 172, taking place on March 23 at the Saitama Super Arena in Japan. The highly anticipated clash marks their fourth meeting, with Aoki currently holding a 2-1 edge. Folayang, a former two-time lightweight MMA world champion, is determined to even the score. Supporting him all the way, of course, is one interim atomweight MMA world champion, Denice Zamboanga, who expressed her admiration for the Filipino veteran. This bout will be Folayang's first under the Racket Nation MMA banner, the same camp that recently celebrated Joshua Pasha's victory over Jared Brooks at 1-171. Zamboanga believes that the team's winning momentum will fuel Folayang's determination. Of course, with both fighters bringing their best to the cage, all eyes will be on this high-stakes showdown as Folayang aims to close the chapter with a statement win. Lewis Hamilton is back at the front, and this time in Ferrari red. Seven-time world champion shocked the grid in Shanghai, grabbing sprint qualifying pole with a lap time of 1 minute and 30.849 seconds. Now that is exactly just a 0.018 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen. It's a major turnaround for Hamilton here after a difficult debut with Ferrari in Australia. Now he actually admitted he was gobsmacked by the result, saying he came into the weekend with aggression and was focused on getting the car into the right place. Meanwhile, McLaren struggled in SQ3. Oscar Piastri managed third, while Melbourne winner Lando Norris only qualified sixth after a mistake on his first flying lap. Now, all eyes are on the sprint here. Can Hamilton convert pole into victory? That is the question. He says he's still learning the car in race conditions, but is super ready for the challenge. The fight for the top spot continues Saturday in Shanghai. Moving on to the NBA, the New York Knicks suffered a disappointing 115-98 defeat against the lowly Charlotte Hornets, raising concerns ahead of the playoffs. Now, with just 18 wins, the Hornets outmatched Tom Thibodeau's squad from start to finish. Josh Hart didn't hold back, though, calling the loss embarrassing and criticizing the team's lack of effort. Without Jalen Brunson, the Knicks struggled offensively and defensively, showing little resilience. New York's bench was particularly problematic here, scoring just 11 points compared to Charlotte's 37. Precious Achiuwa, Landry Shamet, and Cam Payne combined for a dismal 3-4-16 shooting night. Karl Anthony Towns led the Knicks with 24 points, while OG Anunoby added 25, but the team shot a poor 40% from the field and 25.6% from three-point range. In contrast, though, LaMelo Ball ignited the Hornets with 25 points and 8 assists in just 26 minutes. The Knicks, now at 43-26 and 3-4 since Brunson's injury, clearly missed their star point guard. Though Thibodeau confirmed Brunson has started light shooting, the team must improve immediately to stay competitive in his absence. The loss, though, marked the end of a grueling stretch for the Knicks, who played 11 of their last 13 games on the road. With the playoffs approaching here, New York must regain its focus and intensity to avoid an early postseason exit. Meanwhile, Bennedict Mathurin delivered a stellar performance with 28 points and a career-high 16 rebounds to lift the Indiana Pacers to a 105-99 overtime win against the Brooklyn Nets in Indianapolis. Mathurin nailed 3 clutch free throws to knot the game at 91 with 14 seconds left after being fouled on a three-point attempt by Keon Johnson. The play was reviewed for a potential technical foul, but was ruled a common foul. In overtime, Mathurin drove to the basket for a layup that gave Indiana its first lead since the opening quarter. A crucial steal by TJ McConnell set up Pascal Siakam for 2 free throws, pushing the Pacers to a 101-99 advantage. Miles Turner sealed the victory with a spectacular block on Cameron Johnson. Turner, returning from a 13-game absence due to a hip injury, made a strong impact with 23 points and 10 rebounds. Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle applauded his team's defensive tenacity, highlighting their ability to limit Brooklyn to 38% shooting and outscore them 20-14 in overtime. With this win, Indiana climbed up to the 6th in Eastern Conference standings, strengthening their playoff bid with just 13 games remaining. Brooklyn faced challenges without star forward Macau Bridges, who missed the game due to an ankle injury. Cam Thomas led the Nets with 26 points, but it wasn't enough to hold off Indiana's surge. And here are more results from around the NBA. And here's your daily dose of sports lingo. Okay, here's a question. Have you ever heard of the fletch in fencing? The fletch is a bold and aggressive offensive maneuver. Derived from the French word meaning arrow, the fletch involves a sudden, explosive charge toward the opponent, often surprising them with its speed and unpredictability. Unlike traditional lunges, though, a fencer using a fletch propels themselves forward, sometimes even crossing their legs mid-air before landing the attack. Now, this move is commonly used in épée and foil fencing, but it is prohibited in sabre due to the risk of collisions. When executed effectively, though, the fletch can be a game-changing tactic, catching opponents off guard and securing valuable points. So the next time you watch a fencing match, keep an eye out for the swift and striking fletch, a true mark of a daring and skilled fencer. Now it's time for our off-court buzzer. The Boston Celtics have a new owner. Bill Chisholm, a co-founder of Symphony Technology Group, is set to take over the iconic franchise for a record of $6.1 billion, surpassing, of course, the previous $6.05 billion sale of the Washington Commanders back in 2023. The current owner, Wyc Grousbeck, who bought the Celtics in 2002 for $360 million, will remain as team CEO and governor for 3 more seasons. Under Grousbeck's leadership, the Celtics claimed 2 NBA titles and made 4 finals appearances, including, of course, the recent championship win over the Dallas Mavericks back in 2024. A diehard Celtics fan, Chisholm faces NBA Board of Governors approval before officially taking the reins. The franchise, valued at $6 billion by Forbes in October of 2024, drew multiple bidders before the Grousbeck family ultimately chose Chisholm's group. Chisholm, who earned his MBA from the Wharton School, brings a wealth of experience from the private equity sector. His tenure at the helm of one of the NBA's most storied teams is set to begin a new era in Boston sports. And that's our roundup for tonight, the 21st of March. Up next, get to know how Ralph Santos is leveling up Philippine tennis through his Racket Nation program. Watch out for that when we return right here on The Scorecard. Welcome back to The Scorecard. In a basketball and volleyball crazed country, one man is determined to raise the level of Philippine tennis talent from the grassroots up. Let's get to know Ralph Santos and his vision for Racket Nation. Together with me is one of the founders of Racket Nation Philippines, Ralph Santos. Welcome to The Scorecard. Thank you so much for, taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and talk to us about your brainchild, Racket Nation. And congratulations on your tournament for today. It was very successful. I had so much fun watching all of the games. Now, tell us more about Racket Nation, Ralph. What was your vision when you were discussing this with your other co-founders for Racket Nation?
Initially, what we wanted to do was put together a group of juniors and help them and coach them, and actually at the same time find elite coaches that can support these juniors. And what we found was it was actually very limited. There's groups and organizations that help juniors,
right?
But what we wanted to do was bring that together into an academy, and hopefully one day, our vision is in the next 24 months to create that academy, have a facility for them, house them in there, provide the international education, put them under scholarship. I think coaching and competition is still a little bit higher in other countries like the US and in Europe. So what we'd like to do is once they're done in our academy and we've provided the footprint, if you will, to allow them to go to the international schools, then that's where they can truly elevate and then become, that ranking. Because at the end of the day, I don't think we've had any top 20, top 50 yet.
Yeah.
in the world. And what we're trying to do is change that.
So that's your goal.
Vision.
A top 20, top 50 in the world.
Hopefully, if we can gather all the organizations that support junior programs and work together to establish that, then that's a game plan that we'd like to set forward for sure.
That is amazing. So you guys really had a full-fledged plan coming into this when you guys were already founding Racket Nation. Now, you seem very passionate about tennis, Ralph. Where does your love for tennis come from? Were you a player before? Maybe you can walk us through that journey, that life of yours back in the day.
I played tennis in Canada, so I was a junior player there, and I couldn't really increase my level in playing while I was there because lack of funding.
Right.
And I was going through controversial stuff there because, I was a foreigner. And even though I was playing good quality tennis, I wasn't getting the sponsorships or wasn't even getting looked at. And that's when I got frustrated with the game. I actually quit for 40 years.
40?
And the only reason why I got back into it is because of our children, and which are behind me right now playing, and they got addicted to it. Lizelle, Arkin, and Lara, they're addicted to tennis. But at the same time, if I do it, it's not going to have the same impact because I want them to have the environment, the social atmosphere, and the camaraderie with other kids. Because for me, when I played, I was by myself or I was with a friend. And that wasn't enough, aside from the financial. But when the financial, which is completely abandoned, playing by myself was even more difficult because I couldn't really improve my quality of tennis. So that's one of the reasons why I gave up. For my kids, I want them to have the tennis, the community, the environment, the quality of training, and grow that with wherever they go, be it in the Philippines, and hopefully I can get them into the States to compete and play, then their quality will improve. And if they want to continue, I'm happy. And then from there, that's how I kind of spiraled into a group of our friends who are also addicted to tennis.
Right.
And then we just started, forming this and having the vision to support outside of the family. Right. Initially, it was a bit, for the family and our kids, but then we saw these other kids who have potential. And then we saw that the kids in the provinces also are amazing players.
Exactly.
So we want to support the grassroots as well.
Grassroots. I agree. As a tennis lover myself, there are so many incredible tennis athletes here in the Philippines, but they don't have the accessibility to a lot of the tools needed to maximize themselves as a player, right? That's why I really I commend you guys for even thinking about the grassroots program, because I feel like that is kind of what is lacking here in the Philippines, not only for tennis players, but a lot of our athletes here in the Philippines as well. Now, take me back to that moment, that idea, that light bulb moment when you and your wife, Lizelle, and Brian all came together and thought of your brainchild, Racket Nation. What were the challenges that you guys faced when you tried to kind of fly Racket Nation off the ground first?
Well, right now it's only been a few months, so we haven't seen too many challenges, with the exception of the stress of preparing the Pro-Am Celebrity tournaments. But other than that, our plan seems to be going fine. We have, we're looking into the lots to be able to build the academies. We have the investors that are interested. I think once that starts to kick off into the plan of building, that's when our challenges will be. Because I think at the end of the day, when we start, setting up the tournaments and getting the accreditation requirements, I think that has a natural path.
Now, you did mention, Ralph, just a few seconds ago that you guys, your vision really for Racket Nation is to really gather the top of the top here in the Philippines, tennis players, but in order to get that, obviously you guys are gonna have to roll out a lot of tournaments, not only here in Metro Manila, but all across the Philippines. Is that part of your blueprint plan? To travel to different regions and provinces and put up tournaments there to find, the best talent in tennis?
I think we'll do the tournaments in Manila. The traveling we'll do is actually for scouting.
Okay.
So we'll scout for the elite coaches that are focused on really uplifting the junior game. And then at the same time, we'll go to the provinces to choose the top juniors and the best juniors. From what I understand now, and I'm not sure if this is accurate, the sponsorship for the juniors are usually provided, from the top 3.
Right.
And I think we want to capture more than that. We want to get the top 4 to 20 if we can, if budget permits.
I love that. Okay, Ralph, looking at the bigger picture in tennis, What is your hope for Philippine tennis?
Oh, that we put someone in the top 10. Women, men, not just doubles.
WTP, ITP.
Exactly.
We're going that level already.
That's a vision. Hopefully, you know, my kids' generation, their generation, before, you know, at least before I'm not walking and playing tennis anymore, I'd like to see that happen. And I believe it's possible.
It is possible because, again, like what you said, we have amazing talent here in the Philippines, but that we just don't give much exposure to. And I'm very excited to see what you guys are going to come up with under Racket Nation the next few months. So good luck with that. And again, thank you so much, Ralph, for your time.
Thank you very much.
When the scorecard returns, we will look at how the NBA teams in the West are battling it out so you can keep your eyes on the prize. Welcome back to the scorecard. It is time to keep your eyes on the prize. All right, NBA playoff race, the wild, wild West. Basketball fans, now let's shift gears to the Western Conference right here, because if you thought the East was unpredictable, well, the West is straight up just chaotic. The top seed looks locked in, but everything else, it is a free-for-all, all right? At the top, Oklahoma City Thunder has taken full control. In the middle, teams are battling for home court, and at the bottom, the play-in race is a war zone. So let's break this down tonight. OKC leads the pack, but who is chasing? The Thunders are sitting at 57-12, proving they are the real deal. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is playing at an MVP level already, and they've got depth, defense, and momentum. But behind them, it's a dogfight per positioning. Houston with 45-25. We've got Denver with 44-26, and Memphis 43-27 are all tied in the mid-standings, and that number 2 seed is anyone's for the taking. Houston is a brutal road trip ahead, while Denver and Memphis have slightly easier paths here. Now, this race is far from over. LeBron's last stand? Well, the Lakers face an uphill battle from here on out. And I quote, "My retirement is near, but before I retire, I will get one last championship shot." End quote, stated by LeBron James himself. All right, let's talk about this one, because LeBron here just put the entire NBA on notice. He knows the clock is ticking here. He already hit 40. Okay, and he's basically saying, I am not leaving without one more ring. But here's the problem. Are the Lakers even built to give him that shot? Now, right now, they are 43 to 26, trying to hold on to a top 4 seed in the West. And they're heading into an absolutely brutal stretch. 6 games in 8 days. And just when they need their full squad, the injury report looks like an all-star team sitting courtside in street clothes. Now, here's who's out for the next games. We've got LeBron James, groin. It's not something that heals overnight, all right? We've got Luka Doncic, ankle, their best offensive weapon. The guy running the show, not playing. Austin Reeves, ankle again. One of their most reliable glue guys, gone. Dorian Finney-Smith, ankle again. A crucial defender, especially when facing Giannis and Dame. Off the board, Rui Hachimura, knee, another scoring option, wiped also off the board. That is just an absolute disaster. Now, if you're scripting a worst case scenario for the Lakers, well, let me tell you guys, this is exactly what it looks like. So now here's the big question. Who steps up in this situation? Because with LeBron and Luka both out, the Lakers don't exactly have that go-to star to run the offense. Now, this is where role players either make a name for themselves or the whole thing just collapses. And the bigger picture? Well, they have to stay out of the play-in. That are the games right now. You do not want to be limping onto a one-and-done scenario with this many injuries. So that's exactly how seasons go sideways, and fast too. So yeah, LeBron wants one last shot at a title, but if the Lakers don't survive the stretch, well, that shot might not even exist in the first place. The play-in war, who survives this situation? Here is where things get real interesting. Right now, the play-in picture looks exactly like this. Minnesota with 40-31. We've got LA Clippers with 39-30. Sacramento with 35-34. Dallas with 33-37. Phoenix with 31-39. The Mavericks are in free fall losing 4 of their last games and facing a nightmare road-heavy schedule. If they don't turn things around quickly, their play-in spot could be in serious jeopardy here. Final predictions. Who makes the cut? If the season ends, here's how the West might just shake out. All right, we've got number 1, Oklahoma City. Number 2, we've got Denver. Sitting at number 3 is Houston, followed by Memphis. 5 is LA Lakers, sadly. Number 6, Golden State Warriors. 7, Minnesota. And 8, LA Clippers. And down at the play-in, we've got Dallas sneaking in, while Phoenix completely falls out. So what's next? The West, it's an all-out war zone. The play-in race is a dogfight here, and for teams like the Lakers, these next few games, oh my goodness, they are make or break, I am telling you. Every night is a playoff game starting now, and every win, a lifeline. Every loss, a step closer to disaster. So, NBA fans, basketball fans, buckle up, because this Western Conference race, it is absolute chaos. But it's only getting crazier. Now let's keep an eye and stay ahead of the game with a full lineup of NBA matchups this weekend up until Monday. That wraps up tonight's preview, so you can keep your eyes on the prize. Now, before we go, think on this. From a 2012 Olympic all-around gymnastics champion who also won 6 Olympic and World Championship medals, Gabby Douglas once said, "The hard days are the best because that's where champions are made." And with that said, thank you so much once again for joining us tonight. We'll see you again next week on the Scorecard, where sports is our business and business is our sport, on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Once again, this has been Erika Kristensen-Lee. Have a good weekend, everyone.